Welcome back to the Red Slayer Rides. I'm your host Connor, and in today's video I will be reviewing the Smiler at Alton Towers, the roller coaster with the world's most inversions. This roller coaster is a phenomenal creation by Gerstlauer, located at the Alton Towers Resort in Staffordshire, England, and I had the fortunate opportunity to go and visit Alton Towers back in late March. It was a phenomenal experience. I recommend it to anybody who can get out to Alton Towers. It is one of my favorite parks of all time. It is awesome. And England in general was also pretty good, so be expecting some reviews from Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, the two parks I went to in the UK. It was an awesome trip. Highly recommend it, and thank you for the support that I've been getting lately. A lot of my videos have been, not videos, shorts, have been doing pretty good, and in the multiple, 1,000 plus view range, which is really good for my size of a channel. It is awesome. I will try to upload more. I've been really busy lately, and so I haven't been uploading. And without further ado, let's get into the stats of the Smiler at Alton Towers. The Smiler at Alton Towers has 14 inversions, so get ready for a lot of information. On the Smiler, there is a heartline roll, corkscrew, dive loop, another dive loop, a reverse sidewinder, a normal sidewinder, a corkscrew, another corkscrew, a sea serpent roll, a cobra roll, and 2 more corkscrews, which rounds out to 14 inversions on the ride, some of those being double inversions. And there is also a normal lift hill and a vertical lift hill. It is 98 feet tall, 52 miles per hour, 2 minutes and 45 seconds according to Roller Coaster Database, and 3,838 feet long. And that is the stats of the Smiler. It has a very demented theme of you basically being abducted and experimented on to force you to smile for the rest of your life. As you can see from some of this footage, you might see the giant spider-like thing in the center with a bunch of flashing lights and items just all over it. It is a pretty fantastic spectacle to look at. And this whole ride is absolutely, it's like not the prettiest colors, it's just like black and dark gray. And it's like there's some yellow around the queue lines, but it is incredible to look at. And I hope you can see that through the footage that I have taken, and I'm sorry if it's a little bit shaky at times. Without further ado, we're going to jump into the layout of the Smiler. Your ride on the Smiler starts with a left-hand turn out of the station into a dark drop into immediately your first inversion, which is a heartline roll. And then you slam on the brakes and start to head up your first normal lift hill. For now anyways. And with the magic of editing, you're at the top. You have a pretty good view from the top, but then you're sent barreling to the right, and then quite literally barreling downhill in your second inversion up into dive loop number 1 and then into dive loop number 2, heading back down into a very nice pop of ejector airtime into the first half of the Batwing and then into the second half of the Batwing, pulling out of the Batwing into a fairly whippy corkscrew, hitting the brakes, entering into the second half of the ride. And once again, with the magic of editing, we are done with the second lift hill, the vertical one this time. Now, after heading to the top, like the first one, you're now going to the left, and then barreling downhill in the opposite direction, heading up into the sea serpent roll, which is not a very common element on roller coasters, heading into the second airtime hill of the ride, and then into the cobra roll, which is fairly jerky right there, and then into corkscrew number 1 and a weird corkscrew number 2, turning to the left into the brakes, and that is your ride on the Smiler. Alright, now it's time for just a general overview of the ride, and at the end I'll be giving my final score for the Smiler. This coaster has a lot of elements in very rapid succession, but thankfully it's split into two halves, which, thank you Alton Towers, or else this ride would be more nauseating than it already is. The Smiler. Warning, if you even get slightly nauseated, don't go on this ride. It's not worth it because 14 inversions messes with you. I got 5 rides on the Smiler, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then 1 in the second row. I've enjoyed all of my rides on the Smiler, and I personally prefer the front. The airtime, little bit better in the back. Not by much, but a little, because there's not that big of a difference. There's only 4 rows. The trains hold 16 riders, 4 per row, and I'm not complaining. The capacity on this ride is pretty good because of the amount of block sections that it has. It's not Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket with like 7, but this ride has at least a few. I can't remember off the top of my head. The first lift hill, base of the lift hill, second lift hill, base of that lift hill, the indoor section, the station. There's 2 block breaks on the brake run, and the capacity on this ride's good. Also, the ops for this ride, from where I noticed, very, very good ops. It was at the beginning of the season, so they are training new employees towards the beginning of the season. However, this ride was very, very efficient when it came to operations. Around a minute per train, which 16 riders, yeah, it could be better. It could be Fury 325 with their 32 rider trains and a minute operations. But I'm not complaining because the Smiler still does a good job. The queue line is not the most themed in the world, but it doesn't have to be because you just have all the track running above you for basically the whole queue line, and then you go indoors and it's not that great indoors. I'm gonna be honest, it's just a bunch of screens. It's not that enjoyable, but luckily we didn't have to wait for that long indoors. Nor did we have to wait that long for this ride in general. When we went in March, the park was pretty dead, so we didn't have to wait really at all for this ride. And I think that's a positive, and that's why we rode it 5 times instead of once or twice. And I really do enjoy this ride. It is one of my favorite coasters. It is currently in my top 25, and it's high up there. But with my upcoming trip to Ohio, that could change very quickly, because I have 29 new roller coasters to ride in Ohio with my biggest trip of all time, which I actually haven't talked about yet, so I'm going to do a real quick section on that. I'll bring it back up in a later video, maybe on what my plans are for this year. I don't know. I don't think I'll do that, though. I'll bring it up a different time, but just for now, I'm going to Cedar Point and Kings Island in July, which is going to be epic. I've never been to either of those, which is... it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And I will say, on the note of Alton Towers, back to that, the weather. England has atrocious weather. They do. It's bad and it's unexpected. When I was there, I was lucky. It was sunny for both days, minus some clouds here and there. That's what you're seeing in this footage currently playing. There's some clouds in the background, but it is not raining the whole day, which was great. However, I do believe the Smiler operates in the rain. However, if it is windy, the Smiler will not operate over certain wind, which it's fairly common in certain parts of England. I'm not too sure about Staffordshire, where Alton Towers is and the Smiler is. I'm not too sure what the weather is typically like up there wind-wise, but I do know it's rainy like the rest of England. And yeah, that was the review of the Smiler. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you've been on the Smiler, if you've done the 5-hour drive from where I was in Hastings to Staffordshire. Yeah, that was an interesting drive. Smiler, 10 out of 10. I actually wouldn't change anything about it, except for little retrack on that Cobra roll, which is a little bit rough, but that's about it. Roughness on this ride really isn't that bad. Again, let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and please share this video to people that you know. I would be it would be totally epic if I could get some more viewers to come and see my content. It may not be the best, and I will never say it is the best. However, I do think it is at least enjoyable. I don't think I'm purposely trying to make the videos bad. But I'll try to upload more, and I'll see you all in the next video, which should be a review of Nemesis. See you later, and without further ado, I'm out.